If you are already an why can I never say that? If you're already there you go. If you're already a subscriber, no, there's still a fly in here. Is this the same fly? What's happening? He's coming around for Get Ready With Me and TV. Welcome, we should name him. Hey guys, and welcome to this week's Get Ready With Me and TV Bachelorette Edition. If you'd like to follow along the series or follow along with my other, product-based videos, then I encourage you guys to hit subscribe down below. I do also have a giveaway going on, so I will, link the video down below that you can go check out the giveaway, and I will also give the instructions of how to enter down below. Thank you for joining me today, and without further ado, let's get started with today's video. All right, so this episode was a pretty good one. It was pretty intense. We left off last week with Thomas going home. Thomas, if you missed it, was our troublemaker of the last couple weeks. This week starts off with all the guys super pumped about it, relieved. They're like, okay, so Cody went home, Carl went home, and now Thomas went home. So kind of all the troublemakers have gone home, and the rest of the guys seem like just a really good bunch of guys. So a few of the guys were talking now we can hopefully really enjoy ourselves and blah blah blah. But little do they know, Blake is coming into the house that day. So Tayshia goes in and breaks the news to the guy. There's this guy that's interested, but it's somebody I know, and it's somebody that I trust has good intentions. So Blake ends up coming in after Tayshia breaks the news. The guys are obviously concerned, questioning things, they're not necessarily thrilled about it, and it's super awkward. As I've mentioned, that I do like Blake. I watched Tayshia's season. I did really, really like Blake. He was one of my favorites. Number one, as I said, he's a Canadian. So am I. But more importantly, I just felt like he was funny and sweet and genuine. And I just thought he was one of the good contestants on Tayshia's season. I'm not mad that he's there for sure. The guys don't really have much to say to him. I think Blake went about it in such a great way. He didn't come in cocky oh, she let me come in and blah, blah, blah. He was very respectful of their feelings, of the men's feelings, of their opinions about him. He didn't really get defensive, and the guys weren't bad. They weren't rude by any means, but they weren't necessarily very welcoming. So then there's a knock on the door. It's date card time. And this week, instead of 2 group dates and a one-on-one, it's 2 one-on-ones and a group date. And who gets the one-on-one? Blake. The guys are obviously pissed. Now, they don't get rude about it. In their interviews, they're like, we've been here for weeks. And I can see their point. I would be pissed too. And it's not like everybody's had a one-on-one. There's only really 2 guys. Is it 2? Yeah, there's only 2 of them that's had a one-on-one. Every other guy is sitting there I haven't even had a chance. And a lot of the guys don't really get a ton of time with her in general. But then at the same time, when you think about it from Katie's perspective, Blake's coming in late. You do kind of want to make up for lost time. And if she were to not do the one-on-one, then he stays for a few weeks, and then she realizes it's maybe not the thing. I do feel if you just spend one-on-one time, you're going to have a better idea of whether you think it's going to work right off the bat, instead of just waiting. There's still a fly in here. Is this the same fly? What's happening? Every week I feel and only when I do these videos. He's coming around for Get Ready With Me and TV. Welcome. We should name him. Oh man. So then comes in Katie. And she's there to go on her one-on-one with Blake. But she does go in and sit down with the guy. She's I'm going to open the floor. Ask me anything or tell me how you're feeling type thing. Not too many people say anything. What really are you going to say? She's already made the decision. So really, what is there to say? I think it was Courtney says, how do you guys know each other? What's going on? And she does explain that they don't really know each other. The only communication they've had outside of the house and out of the Bachelorette is that he DM'd her, and it never really went anywhere. Blake and her go on their one-on-one. It is almost, I don't know, it kind of seems tiny bit awkward at first. They haven't even really spent any time together because they only had one conversation. Katie went and told him he could stay. So that was another conversation, but that was short and sweet. But it really picked up quick. They're going horseback riding, and it's funny because they're walking up to the horses, and as they're doing that, he's like, can I tell you something? Ever since I was a kid, I've been scared of horseback riding. What a perfect date for them. But he does it anyways. He's a trooper. He's a good sport and he does it anyways. He does seem a little bit like freaked right out. And like really quickly, everything just like picks up. They're chatting, like it doesn't seem awkward at all. So it seems like they really are getting along well. And like you can kind of already see the chemistry between them, which is kind of cute. You know, their conversation is really flowing and they actually kiss like pretty quickly into the date. She comments that she definitely is glad she kept him. Like she can already, you know, feel that chemistry again. And you know, she thinks she made the right decision. So last week, I think I said I thought he was going to stay for 2 weeks, but like she takes him on the one-on-one right away and then they jump right into it, pretty much making out, rolling around in the hay. And it's crazy like how quickly they really like get into their relationship. Now that I've seen their connection, I really do understand why he's there. Like, unless they're really good actors, because like there is always the skepticism of like, is the show even like how much of it is scripted type thing. I do think that in the end, the person does get to kind of still build those relationships genuinely. Like it's not like that's fake. Yeah, I really think he has a shot. I personally, after seeing this week, think it's between him and Greg or Michael. I definitely see their connection and it's like almost stronger than the majority of the guys there, and he's been there for not even a week. So yeah, the date's going really well. I think they are building like a really good connection already, and I really think the guys have to look out for Blake for sure. I do think he is one to beat already. You know, that says a lot. Back at the house, the guys are kind of freaking out. You know, the guys do also kind of feel threatened, and rightfully so. Greg is specifically kind of struggling with it. He's been kind of struggling for a couple weeks now, and like almost right from the get-go. It is probably because they had their one-on-one really early. So like he built that deep connection with her. He got close with her. They shared a lot of, you know, personal details. And then now he's just like, he's probably not going to get another one-on-one unless he makes it till the end, which I think he will. So he's just got to kind of sit there for weeks upon weeks watching other guys going on one-on-ones, coming back so pumped and having a great time and kissing her and blah, blah, blah. But it seems like he's really kind of struggling with it more than most of the men. And I think that's because he just genuinely likes her. I do think it's like, it's a good thing. So back at the house, there's another date card, and this is for the group date. So basically whoever doesn't have their name on the date card is gonna get the one-on-one. So Greg is on it, obviously he's already had a one-on-one. Courtney's on it, Aaron, Mike P, Michael, who's already had a one-on-one, Andrew M, Josh, Justin, Brendan, James, Connor B, Trey, and then there's one more name, and like Hunter is like the new scandal of the week. I think he's just like cocky and aggressive. I don't really understand. This is why sometimes I think the show is either scripted, it's at the very least edited, which I think all shows are. All shows are edited for entertainment. They're gonna, you know, make things kind of come across a certain way. So yeah, I don't understand how like somebody seems so normal for weeks and then like it seems like they get rid of a troublemaker and then all of a sudden somebody else is like, all the guys are like, oh, he's so cocky, we don't like him. Whereas like before you never really heard much about him. I don't know if it's because they just focus on one person at a time or if it's like, all of a sudden somebody's not being a very nice person. This is Hunter's week to shine as the villain. The guys are not liking his cocky, abrasive attitude. So there's one more name on the date card, and Hunter's like, yeah, I'm definitely gonna get the one-on-one I needed. So yes, long story short, one more name. Drum roll, please. And it was Hunter. So Hunter's going on the group date, and Andrew S is getting the one-on-one, which he's obviously pumped, and Hunter is obviously pissed. So back on the date, which is the evening portion of Blake and Katie's date, she shares that, you know, she really is excited to get more time with him. They're getting along really well. It's going really, really well, and you know, Blake kind of says, you know, I want to know more of what makes you you. Like how did you become such like a sex positive person? What made you so public about it? Like not that there's anything wrong with that, but like he said, usually there's more to that. And we already learned that there obviously is. She was sexually assaulted when she was younger, and it really messed up her view on sex, and just it affected her deeply for many years. And And then she said when the Me Too movement happened, it really kind of opened her eyes. It really did happen. It's a problem. And it kind of gave her more control. And I'm going to really grow and move on from it and let it, you know, I think she just really wants to be a positive influence for women and that they can be sex positive and that doesn't mean that they can be taken advantage of or blah, blah, blah. So she shares this with Blake and he, you know, responds really well. He is like, you know, I'm really sorry that that happened to you. And he actually, you know, says, I'm a pretty sex positive person as well. And I just want to let you know that I'll be really, really mindful of that kind of topic so that you never feel some type of way about me or blah, 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 which I think was cute. You know, he seems very respectful and I think she's really into him. So she does give him the rose. And she just seems like super kind of smitten with him, like already. I could only imagine how the guys would feel when he comes home with a rose. So I think that he has a really huge shot at ending up, you know, leaving with her. And she even said that she could see herself leaving with Blake. She's like, there, I said it. So I think that he's, you know, one to look out for sure. So moving on, the one-on-one. So Katie has the guys come out. They're on like this field and they're going to be playing some sports. Has the guys playing this sport that's almost like a mix of basketball and rugby or football. So she had Wells Adams, who was he on The Bachelorette? I think he was, wasn't he? I know he was on Bachelor in Paradise. And then he ended up being like the bartender for Bachelor in Paradise, which is so funny. JoJo's season, he was on season 3 of The Bachelor in Paradise. I like him. He's so funny. He's engaged to Sarah Hyland. I know he was dating her. I just didn't know that they were engaged. I love her off of Modern Family. She's so pretty. And I just think they're like the cutest little couple. And then this guy, what's his name? Frank Acosta or something like that? Frank LaCosta. So they're playing the game and Hunter comes out like guns a-blazing. They're in these like singlets, like they're like deep-hued, like wrestling uniforms. Hunter just comes out super intense. He's like super aggressive about it, like is tackling people left and right. He tackles Mike P like really, really hard. And I felt so bad for him, but he was okay. And then it kind of just like started this like aggression and all the guys started tackling each other. It started to get more intense. And then Justin tackles Michael from behind. He kind of just like hits really hard and it probably just like hurt his back or something and like knocked the wind out of him. So he was like kind of hurt and Katie is scared because it looked really bad. So she was like, nope, we're not playing anymore. And Justin felt so bad. Like I like Justin. He's hilarious and he does seem nice. So I don't think he like would have meant to hurt anybody. Michael was okay. But Katie was like, yeah, no, we're not doing this again. I don't want anybody hurt. And she makes the comment, if any of you get hurt and you leave, you can't come back because of COVID. And I forgot to mention that she also, at the beginning of the game, says that winning team gets to come to the after party and the losing team has to go home. So, because there was 13, like everybody but 2 guys was there. There was 13 guys, but she, I think, kind of felt bad. She was like, hey, everybody is invited to come. So after party comes and Katie pulls Michael first and they have a really good connection as well. Ever since their one-on-one, they really seem to be connecting really well. You know, we heard his story of how his wife passed. She, like, I think wanted to check in on him because he did get hurt. And he kind of shares with her that it's been a bit of a hard week already. It was his wife's birthday the day before, which I was like, oh my goodness, it just like breaks your heart. I can't imagine like losing the love of your life. Like I can't imagine that. She is so supportive about that. She's very respectful about it. And she's like, you know, I hope you got to celebrate Laura and blah, blah, blah. Then she kind of is chatting with the other guys and some other good connections she's growing as well. Like Connor B, cat guy that she likes. She really seems to be into him from the beginning. He, as we learned, is a musician and he like made a little song for her, which was really, really cute. And then comes Hunter. He's just so aggressive. The guys don't really like him. Like they were like, he just has such like an abrasive personality. He, in his interview, was like super, super cocky. He was saying that he knows that nobody there is like him. Like he's like he's one of a kind. So he sits down with her and he's like very serious. He's like, you know, I just want to let you know that this relationship is really serious for me. You know, he's like, I've never introduced somebody to my kids. And he's like, and I do want to introduce them to you. He pulls out some pictures and he shows her pictures of his kids, and she really seems to appreciate it. You know, it is always cute to see somebody, a proud dad is how she described him, which is obviously a good thing. So she really appreciated it. And like, it was sweet. There was nothing wrong with that, but it's just the way he acts aside from that I'm like, no. They kiss. So that relationship, I guess, is going places, but hopefully she sees that side of him soon enough before it gets too late. She's talking to Greg, and as I said, he's been kind of struggling. She's like, I've been able to tell that you're struggling, and I wanted to just make sure you're okay. She's like, yeah, you have like what I call resting sad face. She's like, you just look like a sad puppy. Every time I look at you, I'm like, oh my goodness, that would not go over well with a lot of men. He shares, yeah, I really have been struggling, but I feel like this week I've kind of started to feel a little bit better. He said today I really felt a little more comfortable in the group setting. So she's like, that's good to hear. And she does share that one of her biggest fears is him leaving. And so that says a lot about their relationship. Like, one of your biggest fears is him leaving. Clearly, you really like him. So the guys are kind of all just sitting around and talking. And Michael kind of opens up to them, tell them his story about his wife dying and how it was her birthday. And it really seems to impact the guys. You know, I feel like a lot of them would never have guessed because Michael is such a positive person. And it really specifically impacts Greg. And I think because he's been so stressed about all of these things, he's like, I'm so like worried about all of the smallest things when like this guy here has been through such a hard time and is just like such a positive guy. And he's like, Greg even like breaks down and is crying about it. Like, it was really cool to see these guys like, you know, really care about Michael. I don't know. I just thought that was really, really cute. Katie comes in and is about to give the group date rose. So, you know, I thought maybe it would be Michael, or maybe it would be Greg, maybe even Connor B, the top 3 guys. But no, guess who she gives the rose to? Hunter. I'm like, really? Why? Because he showed you a picture of his kids? I don't know. Clearly she's into him, but like, I didn't understand that. I felt like maybe it's because she knows she's going to give Michael and Greg a rose at the rose ceremony. Like, maybe she's just so sure of their relationship, but she wanted, I don't know. I just didn't understand that. And it'd be different if he was like not cocky. It'd be like, oh, good for Hunter. Cute. But no, he's like some cocky dick now. Then it is time for Andrew S.'s one-on-one. And I do like Andrew S. Last week we had a little bit of a hiccup. He was a little bit of a selfish person last week. I didn't like some comments he made. Like, he was kind of mad about the Thomas situation because it was taking up his time. Like, he didn't want to tell Katie. I didn't understand that. But aside from that, I've really, really liked him. Like, he is a very funny guy, but he's also can get quite, you know, deep. So she picks him up and he mentions it's like really late and they like have these lanterns and they're walking through the woods and they get there and she gets him to hold her lantern and she picks up this like extension cord and plugs it in, and it's all these beautiful hanging lights from the trees, and there's little envelopes in there for them to open, just like little questions to get them to like, you know, learn more about each other, but also like grow closer. And it was a really cute little date. There was funny little questions like, what is your best dance move? And then they have like these hanging hearts from the trees, and then they have this like big sledgehammer and they have to like, they're like ceramic hearts with the little notes inside. So one of the questions was, what did your parents teach you about marriage? I feel like they have a really good connection as well. They seem to really get along, but I do think they also just have a really good understanding for each other. Like, they've been through a very similar childhood and they really, I think, bonded through that. Andrew S.'s answer to that question about what his parents taught him was like, I don't think his dad was in his life. Well, he wasn't, because he said that he wasn't. Dad was like locked up when he was young. So he said that he learned not to leave your partner hanging even when times get tough, because you'll miss out on moments with them, and and most importantly, you miss out on moments with your kids. And he's like, and I've learned that I don't want to miss any of my moments. Who doesn't want to hear that answer? He doesn't ever want to kind of be like his dad. So I think that that's cute. And I think she really, really likes him. She says she has one more surprise for him. And they go into this dark room with all these neon lit up balloons, and some of them have questions on them. It was like the cutest thing. You know, they kiss and they seem to really get along really well. So I think that relationship really is genuine as well. Then they go to their dinner portion. He shares, like, they have a really, really serious conversation, and he shares his experience of dated a white woman before. You know, I thought we were going to be together forever. He's like, I was going to propose to her, and she kind of shared a concern that she didn't know if she wanted to have kids with me because they would be mixed race, and not because she was racist, but because she was a little bit concerned about what other people would think. Like, you know, people saying, are those your kids? But Katie is like really emotional about it, and like, I'm really sorry that you had to go through that. And like, she's like, I don't care what people think about me. Like, she basically was talking as if it was them having kids together, which was kind of cute. And she's like, I don't care what anybody thinks. And she's like, and believe me, I will let them know if they have anything to say. And it seems, as I said, a little bit more in depth than maybe some of her other relationships. The last part of the date, they go into a hot tub, and they're just, you know, enjoying each other's company. And comes the rose ceremony, and she does give Andrew S. the rose. Sorry, I forgot to mention. The guys are a little bit like nervous because it's starting to get down to like the nitty gritty, as I said. It's like halfway through. There's still a lot of guys there, but obviously they're not all gonna make it. So they're starting to get nervous. Like, they just kind of are all trying to get their time. So Justin, he is so cute. He made a little game for her. So it's for them to kind of get to know each other a little bit better. And the game is, he has cards with like kind of statements. If you agree with it, you say, I accept. And if she didn't agree with it, she says, thanks for your feedback. And I just think it was cute that he went out of his way to like make this game for her. Hunter is just, number one, he's cocky. He's being a dick, right? If you watched this, comment down below if you noticed this as well. His like excessive sniff. I don't know. It was the weirdest thing. Like, what is going on with your nose, bud? Happens every time you see him. I don't know if the show is doing it to make him seem more gross because he's like the new villain. I don't know, but it's disgusting. And I'm like, if you continue to do this, I don't know if I can watch this. I hate snot, and it really grossed me out. And it makes me hate him more because he's like making this snotting noise. And I'm like, what is going on? Past episodes, Hunter has been quite like, he wants things to be fair. And he ends up making this little like, almost like mini one-on-one date. He brings her with a telescope and champagne, and they're sitting out there. And the guys are like pissed because they're like, number one, you already have a rose. Yeah, you can still have time with her, but like, you should go last, if anything. A lot of them haven't gotten time. They're worried they're not going to get time. So James, the box guy at the beginning, he actually is like, I'm going to go and interrupt. And I think good for him. So James goes over and is like, hey, sorry to interrupt, but can I steal her away? And Hunter's like, no, man, you can't. I'm going to need at least a couple more minutes. And like, is so rude about it. And I would be pissed too, of course. But I think it's the fact that he has a rose, and he's also been one to be like, no, let's be fair about this type thing. Because the guys even said, you know, Hunter would be pissed if it was the other way around. James is like, okay, I'll just wait over here. And he's just like maybe 15 feet away, just pacing. And then it seems like right away, I'm sure he let them have like a couple more minutes. And then he's like, oh, okay, sorry guys, can I steal her now? And Hunter is pissed. You know, James takes her away, has a little moment. The guys are still kind of upset because it was just really selfish of Hunter to do that. And James kind of went and sat down and was talking to the guys like he was done his moment with Katie. So Hunter walks up, and it's just like kind of awkward because Hunter's pissed at James for stealing her away, and James and all the rest of guys are pissed at Hunter. And so they're kind of like, hey man, what's up? Blah, blah, blah. How was your time with Katie? And Hunter's like, yeah, well, you were there for most of it. Just being a sore like loser. The guys kind of try to explain why they were upset. I think Trey had a rose last week and he's like, I said multiple times out loud to everybody, I'm gonna go last because I already have a rose. Like, and really it makes sense. Like, yes, at the end of the day, you're not there to make friends. I get that. But having respect for the other guys, you're living more with them than you're going to spend with her. You're going to have a whole week because you're already there. So he didn't really also like seem to care. He didn't apologize. So I made a guess. I'm going to start doing this every week before she does rose ceremony. I make a guess as to who I think is going home. So I guessed Andrew M going home, Josh going home. I guessed those two last week as well. So it's not that I have anything against them. You never see them ever. I guessed maybe James, maybe Trey, because Trey seemed to be really, really worried because he didn't get time. So rose ceremony comes. We already have Andrew S., Hunter, and Blake with a rose. She gives out the roses to Greg, Connor, B, James, Justin, Mike P, Brendan, and Trey. All get a rose. So that leaves Courtney, Andrew M, and Josh. So I did get Andrew M and Josh right this time, but Courtney goes home, unfortunately. He seemed like a really nice guy as well, but you didn't really see much of their relationship going anywhere either. And then Aaron is doing a toast. Hunter completely cuts him off, almost with attitude in his voice, and makes a toast. It was like super, super rude. And you can tell Aaron was not impressed. So now I feel like every week my opinion on somebody changes, and this week it was Hunter. I don't really like him anymore. So still to come on the season, we get not only a preview for next week, but for the whole season. I think it's probably kind of like a midway preview. There's lots of great connections. You see lots of like little clips of one-on-ones and dates and all of that, and she seems to, you know, have more one-on-one time with, you know, Greg, Blake, Connor, B. You saw some of the top runners really get more time. Lots of drama. So Blake seems unsure. Like, it's like he couldn't say he loves her. So I think he makes it far if he's thinking about saying he loves her. And then even Tayshia says, like, if you're not ready, maybe you should just leave. So I think that Blake is maybe having trouble, maybe because he came in so late. Maybe he's nervous because of the whole Tayshia situation. Like, maybe because he thought he was ready to propose to her and then she sent him home. Maybe he's nervous and like can't get past that. I really truly think it's between him and Greg. That's 100% who I think it's between. I love so many other people on the show, but I don't know if I see them winning. I feel like I could see either Greg or Blake winning after this week. There's like, I don't know how exactly it's going to happen. Does somebody get hurt? Does somebody get COVID? Does somebody, like, I don't know what happens, but I don't think somebody would get COVID because then I feel like the whole show would have to get shut down. But somebody's like behind the door and she's like talking to them through the door. She's making comments like, I feel like the person I could have been with just left. But then there's also like a little clip for Michael. His son is like, maybe daddy doesn't want to see me, which literally broke my heart into a million pieces because I can only imagine how he's feeling. I could not do it. I don't care. I'll be single for the rest of my life if anything were to ever happen to my husband because I, number one, would never want to be with anybody else, but also like, especially to go on a show. So I have a feeling that either somebody gets hurt or something and they have to like go to the hospital and then they can't come back, and that's who she's talking about, like they have to leave, or Michael leaves because of his son, and then that's who she's talking about because she seems really upset about somebody leaving. Then there's a little like clip of her walking out. There's like a clip of Greg walking away. I wonder if they have a bit of a disagreement, and she's like, I'm booked my flight. And I did hear that it's cut short. Like, I don't think it's gonna go the full to the end. Like, maybe Greg leaves or maybe Blake leaves. I wonder if it's going to be that Blake leaves because he doesn't feel like he's ready to like propose. And then she's like, I can't do this. I'm leaving because I wanted to be with him. What do you guys think? I want to know what your ideas are of what's to happen and like how it's going to end. So comment down below. What do you think is to come this season? Your predictions on who's going to win or what's going to happen in the end. Definitely comment down below guessing what this look is inspired by. I forgot to mention last week I did like a really natural eye with a pretty bold liner, a red lip. It was inspired by Katie's makeup look the night of the rose ceremony last week. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm super pumped for what's to come. That preview was insane. It's definitely one that really intrigued me more than usual. Give it a thumbs up down below, and if you're interested in joining me over here on my channel, then go ahead and subscribe. I thank each and every one of you that do. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.